Hi there, and welcome to this episode of the Henchman Film YouTube video series. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about a thing called comedy. And I suppose the reason I bring this up is because I was actually speaking to some people who have read the screenplay and they said that they really enjoyed it, but they didn't expect it to be as funny as it was. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, I suppose good. But yeah, they didn't realize or they didn't pick up from everything that I've talked about thus far that it was actually a proper comedy. And I suppose I want to explain why I want to do a comedy and not another form, because I think this kind of storyline, you can make it a bit more serious, you can play around with it essentially. But I ultimately went with comedy. One reason is because comedy makes everyone happy. You know, they say laughter is the best medicine. I think that's a prime example of it. The second reason is because comedy transcends a lot of different things. What I mean by that, for example, age. If you think about when you were young, you've probably seen this film at some point in your life. It's an absolute classic. Even now, you know, my mid-20s, mid to late 20s, I still laugh at this just because it's just very, very funny. And as I say, it doesn't matter if you're 5, 20, 30, 50, or 100, it's still just genuinely funny. It transcends time as well. And just a good example for me is 10 Things I Hate About You. Absolutely wonderful film. And it's of course based on Shakespeare's A Taming of the Shrew. So Shakespeare had a bit more of a black comedy aspect to it, but this is again done very, very well. It transcends gender too. So I think comedy probably for a long, long time was dominated by men, which was, you know, I suppose a lot of society was. But these days, sort of the last sort of 15, 20, 30 years maybe, females have come to the fore in the comedy genre. Bridesmaids, absolutely wonderful film. You think of Pitch Perfect as well. Oh my goodness, absolutely love that. A couple of other things. It's a very, very versatile, I suppose, vehicle, if you will. So if you have a look at a film like The Avengers, which is ultimately an action film, it was really, really good because of the comedy that was thrown in there. It just added that extra element to it, if you like. And there are a lot of different movies. If you think about it like this, you couldn't really take, for example, a romantic comedy and throw horror film into it, and you couldn't take a really, really sad movie and again throw horror or sci-fi or anything like that into it. But with comedy, you can put it into any other genre that you like. And I think that a really, probably again, the prime example of this is the saddest movie of all time, without question, The Lion King. You cannot tell me you've watched that when Mufasa dies and you don't, you know, start to get teary or even just bawl your eyes out. But of course, because of characters like Timon and Pumbaa, it's actually quite a funny movie. Not just them, of course, it does have quite a good comedic element to it. But again, you can really take any sad movie and break it up, break the tension. And it's not just, as I say, not sad movies, action and horror and sci-fi. And just the comedy goes in there really well. It slots in very nicely and just gives it a bit more depth to it. So yeah, guys, that's ultimately why I decided to make this The Henchman a comedy. There are some really, really good scenes in there, some random jokes as well. I suppose I've got a few different types of humor in there. Will Ferrell, probably the prime type of humor. That's why I need to have him as the henchman. So please make sure you are following me and liking and, you know, sharing and whatever else that you do on social media, purely so I can get the henchman to Will. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.